Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into rugby obsession territory, looking at some really great material on a team close to many hearts, the British and Irish Lions.
Absolutely. We're aiming to pull out the key stuff, get right to the heart of what makes the Lions, well, the Lions.
Yeah.
From that famous jersey to how players get picked.
And before we really get stuck in, just a quick one. If you're loving this deep dive and want more like it, make sure you hit subscribe on Rugby Obsession wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us keep bringing you this stuff.
Yeah, definitely worth doing.
Right. So, the Lions. You picture them, you picture that red jersey, right? Iconic. But have you ever actually wondered why red? It's a question loads of fans don't fully know the answer to, and it's, woven right into their history.
It really is. It feels so established now, like it's always been red.
Exactly. But nope. Before the 1950 tour to New Zealand, they actually went through quite a few looks. They were trying things out.
And it wasn't just about looking good, was it? These kit changes, they were about practical things, sure, but also about figuring out who they were, their identity.
That's a great point. This team, pulling players from 4 different countries, they needed something visual to sort of come it all together.
And finding that took a bit of time.
So what did those early kits look like? The sources mentioned some quite different styles.
Yeah, the very first one back in 1888 was miles away from today. It had blue and red hoops.
Hoops? Seriously?
Yep, on a white shirt base, white shorts, blue socks. Then fast forward to around 1910, and it changed again. Dark blue jersey, white collar, red socks. That stuck around for a while.
A dark blue jersey.
Yep.
Okay, so the move away from blue must have been significant.
Oh, hugely. And messy. There was a really big moment during the 1930 tour, which was pretty controversial anyway. They were in New Zealand, wearing their standard blue shirts.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
You got it. Clashed directly with the All Blacks. And it actually forced New Zealand, unbelievably, to wear white in a test for the first time ever.
Wow. Imagine seeing the All Blacks run out in white because of the Lions kit.
Exactly. Caused a massive stir. It was pretty clear they needed to rethink the blue.
And it wasn't just about clashes, was it? There was more going on.
Right. There was this important discussion bubbling up about representation. The sources mention an Irish player, George Beamish, a lock, who quite rightly asked, "Where's the green?"
Good point. Ireland's a key part of the Lions.
Precisely. And that led to a small change, but a really symbolic one. They added green turnovers to the socks.
Okay. So a little nod to Ireland, making sure all 4 nations felt seen in the kit.
It was exactly that. A deliberate step towards showing that unity visually.
So this is all building towards the red jersey then. It sounds like after World War II, things really clicked into place. That 1950 tour seems key.
Absolutely pivotal. The switch from blue to red, yes, it definitely helped avoid future clashes, particularly with New Zealand. No way the All Blacks were changing from black again.
Probably not.
But it was much more than just being practical. The sources really hammer this home. Choosing red, pairing it with the white shorts, and keeping those blue socks with the green turnover, it was a very conscious decision.
A statement, almost.
A massive statement. Representing England's red, Wales's red, Scotland's blue, Ireland's green, all pulled together. 1 jersey, 4 nations. That became the mantra.
It's incredible, isn't it, how much history and meaning can be packed into a piece of clothing. It's more than just a kit. It's a symbol of these rival nations coming together, putting aside differences for this unique tour.
Rivals becoming teammates, brothers in arms, taking on the best in the world.
And that red jersey, maybe with a few sponsor changes, Scottish Provident, remember them? And different manufacturers like Nike, but fundamentally it stayed the same ever since 1950.
A legacy stitched in red, as one source beautifully put it. It speaks volumes about tradition, adapting when needed, but holding on to that core identity.
And that identity, that spirit, it connects directly to how the team operates today, doesn't it? Especially when you think about who gets picked to wear that jersey.
Exactly. That history informs the present. Which brings us nicely onto some modern insights, particularly from a coach who knows a thing or two about picking winners.
Right. Let's shift gears from the history stitched into the fabric to the tactical minds shaping the team now. This is where it gets really juicy. And just as we dive into these current insights, another quick reminder if you want more of this kind of rugby deep dive, analyzing the game, subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It's the best way to stay plugged in.
Good call.
So, Eddie Jones. Never one to hold back an opinion, is he?
Definitely not. Always has a strong take.
And he's apparently already picked out 4 players he thinks are absolutely certain starters Nailed on was his phrase for the test series against Australia.
Yeah, and when someone like Jones says that, you listen. It makes you think, okay, what is it exactly that a top coach like him prioritizes for these massive games,
Mm.
especially with the Lions, where you got to build cohesion so quickly?
It's not just flashy moments, is it? He seems to look deeper.
Definitely deeper. It's about the underlying stuff. Things like relentless work rate, how adaptable a player is, fitting into a new system fast, and then, yeah, that bit of magic, that X factor. But the foundations have to be solid.
And he really went to bat for one player in particular who'd been getting some flack in the press, Mack Hansen.
He did, the Irish winger. Yeah. Jones basically told the pundits they were looking at it all wrong.
How so? What was his argument?
He said they were focusing too much on Hansen's error count. Maybe a drop ball here or there, instead of looking at his overall involvement, his work rate.
Ah, the bigger picture.
Exactly. Jones said Hansen epitomized the Lion spirit. He talked about him getting stuck into everything, clearing out rucks, which isn't glamorous.
Definitely not, but crucial.
Crucial. Challenging for high balls, making those sharp runs. It was about the sheer amount of positive involvements, the intent.
He had some classic Eddieisms too, didn't he? Something about Hansen being hard to tackle.
He did. Called him a leggy bugger. Really hard to put down in contact. High praise from Jones.
And he also called him a future glue player for Andy Farrell with Ireland. What does that glue player idea really mean in this context?
It's such an insightful term. It highlights that Jones values players who connect the team, who do the hard yards, the unseen work that makes the team function better as a whole. It's about more than just scoring tries or making line breaks.
So it's valuing the relentless effort, the intent, even if every single action isn't perfect.
Precisely. It's about their contribution to the team's dynamics, the overall spirit. These glue players, they hold everything together, especially under pressure. They make the flashy stuff possible by doing the groundwork consistently. It shows a philosophy that really appreciates the nuts and bolts of team performance, not just the highlights reel.
So for you listening, someone who loves the game, what this really underlines is how much goes into evaluating players at the highest level. It's way beyond just the basic stats you might see.
Absolutely. It's about those intangibles, the attitude, the work ethic, the ability to make others around you look good. That's what coaches like Jones are looking for to build a truly effective, cohesive unit like the Lions need to be.
It's fascinating. So we've gone from the threads of history and that iconic red jersey symbolizing unity across four nations,
A journey in itself, finding that identity.
to the modern game and how a top coach identifies the players who embody that spirit, the glue that holds it all together. It really shows the layers in rugby, doesn't it? Tradition, strategy, individual character.
That's what makes the sport so compelling.
Absolutely. Now, we genuinely love to hear what you think. What stands out for you when you think about the Lions' history? Or what's your take on Eddie Jones's view on player selection? Who were your group players? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, always great to hear different perspectives.
And one last time, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the heart of rugby, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession. You won't miss out on future explorations like this one.
Definitely subscribe.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rugby Obsession deep dive today. We really appreciate you listening, and we'll look forward to having you with us for our next episode.
Cheers.
So, as we wrap up, maybe something to think about. We've seen how the Lions blend deep tradition, like the jersey, with sharp, modern analysis like Jones's selections. What does that balance tell us about building elite teams? Is it the history that binds them, or the coach's eye for the right glue? Or perhaps it's that constant push and pull between the two that truly defines the Lions. Something to ponder until next time.